let's get started. Poetry, people. For those watching the VOD, excuse the gruff voice. I think allergies are hitting me hard today. If not COVID, hopefully not COVID. But we'll do what we can here. My ex-boyfriend told me the only reason why he's blocking me... God, these people with the grammar, come on. The only reason why he's blocking me is just so he could make his partner happy, and because his partner told him so. It seems very controlling and weird, and it'll ruin our friendship if he keeps doing this. Well, that's a new one. Of course, we're going to have relationship questions popping up today of all days, of course. But I think this is a valid sort of reaction. Let's see. If this person's your friend, if your ex is supposed to still be your friend, it's unfortunate, but it's a choice he'll have to make for himself. There are some people who it's unfortunate, but he should have the guts to maintain that. Hey, Noan, welcome. Yeah, happy Valentine's indeed, right? Hope it's not too bad at the workplace tonight. Figured this seemed like an appropriate day to stream. Little rough around the throat, but we'll see how long I can go tonight. Everyone needs somewhere to go on days like this. He should have the guts to maintain that despite his relationship. Same old, yeah. I mean, what else is new in the last 3 years, right? Right now, we're dealing with a request where a person who I guess is friends with their ex is being blocked because the ex's new partner wants him to block them. Give people chocolate again. It's a shame. I never got to do that as an adult who makes his own money. It's unfortunate, but it's up to him to decide which he values more. And unfortunately, relationships do tend to win out. At least for a while. If he's young, try not to hold it too much against him, as it is a difficult situation, a difficult place to choose from. Maintain that this, despite his relationship. It's unfortunate, but it's up to him to decide which he values more. And unfortunately, relationships do tend to win out, at least for a while. If he's young, try not to hold it too much against him, as it is a difficult place to choose from. Let's see. Unfortunately, not all relationship partners are open-minded enough for that sort of thing. Whatever the case, don't let it make you feel bad about yourself. Not, that's a little of an empty platitude. Let's try something else here. Open-minded enough for that sort of thing. Put your effort into relationships that value you. And don't get hung up on this one. Something like that. It is a weird situation, but I do know plenty of people who aren't necessarily malicious, but they don't know how to handle competition. I'm inclined to think that these people tend to be young. What's something you can... Oh, man. Requests only. Just returned from visiting my long-distance boyfriend for the first time. It was heart-wrenching to leave, but in a way it feels like it all never happened. It's hard to just fall back into my old routines. I feel torn between two places. I want to be there, but so many things are holding me back. Curious situation these days, where I think a lot of people are kind of developing long-distance relationships, right? As a start, which is kind of mind-blowing, all things considered. Let's see. Oh. Kudos for trying the long-distance thing from the start and actually finding success in it. It's your first time visiting, seeing them, so don't get over committed. But it is a good thing to keep in the back of your mind. At some point, one of you will have to make a compromise if you want to be closer to each other. Just don't be too willing to give up everything yourself too soon. Let's see. Just returning from visiting. Oh. It wasn't a long distance thing from the start. Kudos for trying the long distance thing. Yeah. Don't get overcommitted. Just don't be too willing to give up everything yourself too soon. Have this conversation with him. Yeah. Well, as long as you two are talking about it, I'm sure you'll come to a decent resolution sooner or later. I've definitely known plenty of people who've kind of dropped their whole lives for their boyfriends. And it ends badly a lot of the time because they think they can overcompensate everything with love, which, you know, is a nice sentiment, but isn't always, you know, you still got to be rational to a certain degree when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, especially when it involves relocations. Let's see. Ever since my ex broke up with me, I've been so lonely. My parents were strict growing up, so it was hard to keep friends. Now I'm an adult introvert and don't even know where to begin making friends. Relationship reliance. Adult introverts. I feel like it's kind of the case with a lot of people who aren't the club going types, right? Or even especially these last 3 years. Anyone who's quasi responsible, I feel like isn't going out and is kind of an introvert by necessity. Yeah, as you grow up, you meet less people, it's true. We don't have school to rely on. As a pretty old adult, I'm not so sure your problem is introvert only. It's hard for most adults to just meet people since we don't have school to fall back on anymore. That said, I think one of the better ways to meet people is to join an activity where you reliably see the same people on a regular basis. Volunteer work is a good option, as well as a club if you have an interest in anything specific. Let's see. Strict growing up. Now I'm in a... There's also a YouTube. There's also a Twitch channel you can join. Nah. I'm an adult introvert. Don't even know where to begin making friends. As well as a club if you have anything. Hey, Tarragon. We're assembling the Lonely Singles Avengers on Twitch right now. Ugh. While all the big streamers are out being with their successful girlfriends or boyfriends, us loner small channels will strive under these conditions. No, I suppose that's not a fair assumption. For all we know, Tarragon could be drowning in bitches. he just makes the decision to be like, no, girls, I gotta go hang out on jmoonies' Twitch channel. He's streaming right now. I don't have time for you. Let's see if you have an interest in anything specific. No, I appreciate it, Tarragon. I'm not saying you guys are here because you have no other options. I'm just saying, like, you know. I feel like if we were in relationships, we wouldn't really have a choice of how we spend today, you know? Yeah. Let's see. Also, online communities. If you can find a cause to rally behind. We'll hint at the idea. We won't necessarily tell them to join the jmoonies channel, but you know. Activities. I'll give them the deer. It's fine. Oh, let's see. EMDR therapy. Electromagnetic. Time to pull up Google. What is it? I suddenly lost my cursor. What is going on here? Crap. Oh, there it is. EMDR. Eye movement desensitization and reprocess. That's right. That's right. This is like the hypnotherapy kind of thing, huh? Don't think I can really comment on this one, as I lack the experience. Let's see. A friend told me she liked me. I did not feel the same. We talked it out and are hanging like nothing happened, which is great. But she messages me a lot and invites me on what seems like dates. I was very clear how I felt, but I like her and don't want to lose her as a friend. Yo, what is this? Very curious. We very rarely hear of situations like this from the opposite side, right? It's always the one who likes their friend, who doesn't know how to approach it to stay as friends. Let's see. Good on you for maintaining the friendship despite the circumstances. I think a lot of people panic and just drop it to be safe. In terms of your concerns, communication is key. And as long as you can be straightforward about your boundaries, I think you can expect her to respect them. I was very clear how I felt. In these types of situations, I think it's common for the I don't know if it's really just a talkative issue. I know what they're talking about because I think I've been in this situation before. A little ashamed to admit it, but as someone who likes their friend and is told, you know, let's just be friends, it's unfortunate, but sometimes you kind of can't help yourself from sort of limit testing, right? Like you kind of have to ride out the hormones until you're like, okay, I can chill the fuck out, you know? And then you actually have friends after that. You kind of have to work through their residual like attraction first. I think it's common for the other party to still struggle with the residual attraction. If you have the patience, you can wait it out. But don't hesitate to call out when they're going too far. When they're going out of bounds. I think that's good enough. What we give them? What we give them? We'll give them the devil to symbolize temptation. Alright. Yep. We knew it was going to be a whole lot of relationship questions today. I've been trying to make an effort this past month to really try to date women. I am a woman. Let's just say after a lot of ghosting and lost time, I can safely say my mental health is at an all-time low. After being rejected so much, in just a month just starts to get to you. Damn. You know, I was hoping it was a little, like, better when it came to women on women dating, right? Like, as a guy or a girl, I think it's very common to go through dating, or internet dating for that matter, and just kind of feel like the opposite party is always ghosting you, right? Maybe the non-heteros would do better, but apparently they encounter the same issues. Totally. I mean, I guess there's no reason not to think it wouldn't go the same way, right? I think it's just, I don't know, just being a more, at least at this time, limited pool of people, you would kind of hope that they would not make the same mistakes the rest of the majority do. Totally feel you on this situation. It really is like job hunting in a lot of ways. You can throw out 30 applications, but never hear back from any of them. And it is demoralizing. I think the catch is that you have to pace yourself. Even if you aren't seeing progress, you have to recognize when the practice is a little self-destructive. And maybe decide, hey, I don't need to date that much. Yeah, I mean, it's anyone who's ever tried to find someone anywhere, I think we all kind of know the feeling. I think it was a lot more manageable back in the old days before internet dating was a thing. Or even dating organization, organized dating was a thing, right? Because there was a limit to how much you can kind of do this on your own. You might get rejected once or twice, in a month, maybe 3 times. But when you do internet dating or speed dating or singles night, you could get rejected like 20 times in the span of a week. Keep up the good fight. Well, it's not really a good fight. Let's see. After being rejected so much in just a month, it just starts getting to you. Tech guy, probably. I mean, it is efficient. You just kind of have to consider, and most people don't realize that the process of dating or applying to anything really, right? Applying to jobs. Disappointment, you do receive like mental damage if we're gonna gamify this thing. For every rejection you take, mental damage. And after a certain point, you know, you hit critical, you become incapacitated. It's gray health. No, it's true. It is gray health, but you do have to wait for that gray health to recover, right? You get all that chip damage, the red health, the gray health that regenerates over time. You need time where you're not being chipped to death to actually recover first. So I think the thing is they're taking like, if we're gonna put this in fighting game terms, just going ham, going nuts on the online dating, or like going nuts on the job applications. That's like taking like 40 supers back to back. Unless you're playing Persona 4 Arena, you can get KO'd from chip damage. So you know. Take a break and pick up the struggle again. I believe in you. Yeah, the life points can't reach 0. We got all kinds of gamified analogies to throw at this one. Here's an HP restoring piece of mutton. Please give me tips on how to make friends. My friend circle is full of people I wouldn't view as friends because we don't talk enough. How do I find good friends? Yes. I think it all kind of centers around common interests. Have you tried talking to them? Pilgrim, don't give out the forehead answers. Come on. We're trying to be constructive here. I think when he says though that when he says quote unquote we don't talk enough, it means there isn't really much of an interest in the group for regular communication. it's kind of like you got a circle of acquaintances who don't really feel the need to text or call each other. But you know, you'll say hi and sit next to each other at class or whatever. I mean, it makes sense. I would say, I mean, it just means you don't have anything you want to talk more about, right? You're not curious about things outside of the circumstance in which you see them. So in which case I say, it centers around common interests. Friends that want to talk with each other unnecessarily tend to have interests they want to bounce, have ideas about interests they want to bounce off of each other. Maybe consider joining a club or association that's focused on something you like. Gaming. Gaming for interest, for example. But not fighting games. We don't want to encourage that kind of a toxic association. uh, let's see. I wouldn't view friends because we don't talk enough. For things like this, you can also look beyond the scope of your school as long as you can figure out where such like-minded people congregate. Let's see, what is that? Meetup. Do people still use Meetup? The Meetup app is a good way to look some up. Something like that. Not sponsored? Definitely not sponsored, man. I went to a few meetups. I mean, it's tough because it's hit or miss. But I do feel like a lot of meetups, they end up developing very core groups of people and it gets really hard to break into them. But it's a good way to kind of discover new things. Like you realize board game cafes or like board game shops actually host community nights. And so you can kind of use that as inspiration to be like, okay, well, if I want to, you know, hang out with people who play Warhammer, this is where I go. Kind of thing. I went to a Pokemon Go meetup once. It wasn't the best. Asians have a tendency to sort of self-segregate. And like, I don't want to just make Asian friends, so it wasn't really like a thing I was in love with. But you know, you gotta make your attempts, you know? I finally get into a good enough mood to start my projects. Then as soon as I read the assignment requirements, I immediately get so disheartened. I just feel all energy leave my body and I can't bring myself to do anything else until I've distracted myself again. Motivational issues. Hmm. Motivational issues. Let's see. Motivation issues, huh? I think the important thing when dealing with a seemingly overwhelming task is to divide things out into smaller milestones. You probably don't have to do a whole project in one sitting. So maybe just try to reorganize things so that you just handle chunks at a time. Maybe even assign yourself a reward after each chunk. Honestly, I never really struggled with project motivation. I think I've always been pretty good at assignment triage, so to speak, prioritization. Just to keep yourself if you've got a friend with similar assignments, maybe time yourself to them to keep yourself accountable. Something like that. I am so glad I don't have to do homework anymore. That's like the one big thing that gives me dread when thinking about education. Is like just losing that personal time. Like, granted, we had more of it as students, but still, it's just like homework has always been the worst. Yeah, I mean, Pilgrim, like, depending on your home situation, right? It's kind of like you didn't have a choice. I think my thing was like, okay, well, if I just do this now, I can play video games at home and my parents can't complain about it, right? Although that didn't really work because I had the type of parents who were like, stop playing video games. But it was dark and it was nighttime, so it's not like I was going to go out. So what do? I already finished my homework. I already finished studying. They're like, stop playing video games. Just sit in your room and do nothing because that's constructive. Let's see. I'm at a bit of a lost thought. I want to find a partner, but I don't really know where to begin. I have really specific type, and I have to really fall for someone to be in love. I just don't know where to start, not to mention I have trouble speaking. Don't we all? Aren't we all trying to find a partner? Don't we all not know where to begin? Don't we all have to really fall for someone? Let's see. I think you'll have an easier time of things if you view it as meeting new people who could be, let's put some quotations on here. You have to put yourself out there. No, it's true. Meeting new people who could be friends, but potentially more. But also have the possibility of being more. Basically, let's just see how this plays out mentality. I think attributing Too much importance to the hunt will make it too stressful, but will also encourage you to be too picky off the bat. Just have fun with it. Don't really know where to begin. Not to mention I have trouble speaking. As for where to find people, I'm afraid to say, but dating apps are kind of the meta these days. The responsible meta. Anyhow. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I think it's also like, if you want to start trying to find people to date, where do you find these people? It's not, there aren't obvious places to go. You can go to clubs, but, you know, I think you need a very specific personality for that type of thing. Write a love letter to yourself. Nah, we don't need that. I already answered this person. Love my partner and I want to do more for them despite being in a long distance relationship at the moment. With that said, how do I support my partner who has recently gone through a health decline due to lack of sleep and medical condition? They will have an upcoming surgery soon. Moral support. How do I support my partner who has recently gone through a health decline due to lack of sleep and medical condition? They have an upcoming surgery soon. Hey. Send them a care package. You know, I was just about to say Postmates or something. Hashtag not sponsored, by the way. I've never used Postmates in my life. Or even just like an instant thing too, right? Like these are all shockingly possible options you can do from long distance these days. But let's see here. How to word all this. Bum is back after outing me in my own stream. What do you want now, Bum? Do you want to give chat my social security number as well? You gotta be careful who you let on the mic these days. Think you know a guy. You think they got your trust, and then what do they do? Let's see here. Hey. That was the whiskey talking. You know that doesn't hold up, Bum. You can't blame the day drinking for all of your bad decisions. Let's see. I don't think you need to do anything super special for situations like this. And I think it's easy to overlook how much simple gestures can do in these kinds of situations. A care package will go anywhere within within national distance. And you've always got more instant options like Grubhub or Postmates. You don't need to send him something super extravagant, but coffee or soup will always brighten someone's day. Give your partner my regards, and I hope they get well soon. Must empower these people. Empower them with the memory that even simple gestures like this can mean much. Okay. I'm actually dying to pee right now, so I'm gonna be right back. If anyone's wondering why we're holding on a random getting ready screen, let them know. I'll be back in a second. I really need to add a BRB scrolling text to this whole thing. All right, let's see. I know it's a childish fantasy to want to be famous, but for some reason it still pesters me in the back of my mind. On a planet with more people than one could count in a lifetime, where nothing is original anymore, part of me is so desperate to leave a trace that won't immediately get swept away. Legacy chasing. Let's see. D. Nothing wrong with wanting to leave behind a legacy. I guess what you should think more about is what form you want it to take. Do you necessarily need to be a famous person, or will doing a notable deed be sufficient? Fame's not always what it's what's cracked up to be. Dig a really big hole. Draw a really big X in your backyard. And I think we could look to celebrities to see how that goes sometimes. You want? There is geocaching. I did try looking into that a bit a long time ago. Kind of neat. Let's see. Have you considered things on a micro scale? The effect you have on the people immediately around you might be bigger than you realize. Sounds a little cheesy, but you know, I often look back on the people I've kind of known in my life, and I think I've certainly made decisions that, well, kind of were a small nudge, sort of led them onto bigger and better things. I know one person met his wife because of me introducing him to his job. Another actually became quite famous as a result of it, too. So you don't really need to do that much, but if you want that recognition, I suppose that's a whole nother question. Let's see, what do we give them? I don't know what this T thing is. Let's see, what else we got here? Due to personal matter, I had to move to a different country and had to give up my dream job. It has been a great struggle finding anything similar to that job, let alone anything at all. Now I'm beginning to spiral back into suicidal tendency. I feel useless and I'm scared. Due to a personal matter. That's a little... Had to move to a different country and had to give up my dream job. Let's see. See. Finding anything similar to that job, let alone anything at all. That's a tricky one. So basically, due to a situation that's beyond their control. Hmm. You say spiral back. Does this mean this mean you've been in a similar position before? If a job if a job was the only thing keeping you from this state of mind, it might be worth seeking professional help over. It's not healthy to have your happiness be reliant on just one thing. Especially when it's so specific, you can't find a comparable alternative. Hmm. That said, if you're fine, if you're having a hard time finding something similar, you might just need to pivot and look for work in a different direction, at least in the short term. I mean, it's a crazy thing because, like, you could have that one job you like, but there's no guarantee you would have that job forever either. So what happens if you lose that job? My online girlfriend of 1 year just moved countries to go to university with me. Now that I've been with her in real life for a bit, I think I want to stay friends. I feel like I can't break up with her since I'm all she has to lean on this new country. And she takes rejection really badly. Oh my god. Oh no. How do you allow such a thing to happen? See, this is why you should never give up everything to go chasing after your significant other. To go chasing after your long distance significant other. Ugh. But you should also be like, for your sake, don't just do this for me, right? Obviously, they're young, right? They're in university, so they're probably like maybe up to 21 years old. Damn. I just don't feel the same way about you as I did when you were just typing Twitch emojis all the time. R. That's a tough situation, but you might just need to bite the bullet. It's not fair to lead her on, even if she moved countries to see you. It doesn't mean you can't still be a local support for her. Especially if you do want to stay friends. Yeah, no, it's gonna suck either way, really. I don't see this ending well at all. Yeah, no, I mean, there really isn't. Especially if you do want to stay friends. But this will probably suck regardless of how it pans out. At the end of the day, she's still an adult herself. So you can't shoulder all the blame for this situation. Just do right by her as much as you can. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you just shouldn't let a situation like this happen in the first place, right? Online girlfriends, though, man. Crazy. I'm gonna put this angry platypus here to symbolize the oncoming storm. Holy relationships, Batman. Okay. I feel as though I have lost touch with myself because I'm so obsessed with the image others make for me, and would like to know if there are other people who feel this way and how they've dealt with it. Actually, quite relatable. I feel good about this one. Let's see. I've been in a similar situation. Basically, grew up being typecasted as how people expect me to be, as opposed to how I wanted to be. It's tough to break out of, especially. Hey, Jonathan! Homies got to have each other's back. Jonathan, not to make you feel less special, but all you guys in chat are my Valentines tonight. Oh, man. We all gotta be somewhere when the big V hits every year. It's tough to break out, especially when you've got a long history with these people. Hmm. How to help this person? So the thing with me was, I definitely feel the same way this person felt. The way I had to get out was to move to a completely different city where people didn't know me as well and reinvent myself. Which is not an easy thing to recommend to another person. Jonathan, it's 2022. We can all be polyamorous. It's cool. Polyamorous and non-romantic. It's a whole new world out there these days. Let's see. Break out of, especially when you've got a long history with these people. To be honest, and this'll be tough, the best way to get out of a typecast you don't like is to just stop hanging out with the people who assign it to you. I think I only really ever figured out who I was when I got away from the people who knew me as a kid up to high school. Get away. Let's see. Stop him. Got away from them and introduced myself to new friends the way I wanted to be. I think that's a better way to put it. Jonathan, I'm trying to remember. Were you the one who went to see Jackass yesterday? If so, how was it? Let's see. How do we... We'll go with this one because it's kind of funny. Haha. I want to become more independent. Does anyone have tips? I'm a senior in college. Do people say senior anymore? I feel like college is so fluid. You can't really anchor yourself by a specific title like that, considering some programs go up to 8 years. And let's see. I think the most surefire way to develop independence and to feel independent is to make your own money. The terminology is still used. I mean, it's weird to think of it for university, right? Like high school is always going to be a 4-year program, so it kind of makes sense. But I never really thought of myself as a senior in college. I was just 4th year and then graduated, you know? Hopefully just at 4 years, too. A little cliche, I know, but when you're able to pay your own rent or just buy things without having to ask for your parents' permission, it's a great thing. It also gives you the power to say no when they say no when they disagree with you. And nothing spells independence more than saying no to your parents. Good luck. Hey, Sad, welcome back. Welcome to the Lonely Hearts Club of Valentine's. How is your date on Sunday? Saturday. How was your date on Saturday? Or I think it was a date. Maybe it wasn't. Hopefully it went well. Hopefully you... Oh, damn, it fell through. Dude, sorry to hear. You know, we were just talking about how dating is a lot like taking chip damage in a fighting game. When you go really hard, right? And if you're trying to go on a lot of dates in a short time, it's like being spammed with like 6 different supers back to back to back. And it's recoverable. The damage turns into gray damage or blue damage or whatever. Depending on your franchise, it's that recoverable regenerating health, right? But you take too much of it at once and you get KO'd, so you gotta pace yourself. But yeah, Valentine's Day, it's a tough one, man. Chip damage. It's totally chip damage. Let's see. My cat just days before... Oh god, these people really need to work on the freaking punctuation. My cat just days before, and I just... My cat just... My cat just died. Shit. Yeah. My cat just died days before, and I just found out about it. She was with us when she was still a kitten. I knew she was sick last week and told my mom to take her to the vet. I waited, and then this week my mom asked to take her there. And when I asked my mom to take me there, she was gone already. Okay. I think I get it. Thing with pets, and especially older pets, is that things like organ failure can kind of hit, and you wouldn't really know until it's too late. I actually ended up having to put down my cat, who I've had for like 11 years. I had to put her down in 2020 because she had kidney failure, and I had no idea. I just thought she was kind of sick. She was a little sluggish. But like within, 3 days, about the time you'd expect any living thing to kind of go through the course of their illness, she like couldn't move anymore. It sucked. It's a shame, but with pets, you don't really have a clear way of figuring that out until it's too late. I went from fine to liver failure and had to be put down in one day. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy how fast it just happens. Let's see. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's difficult with pets because they can't tell you how sick they are. I had to put down my own cat of 10 years, 11 years. I had to put down my own cat of 11 years in 2020 because of kidney failure. Sometimes the illness just takes over too fast to do anything. Let's see. I'm sorry you didn't get to find out until it was too late. Maybe your mom was trying to... Yeah, I mean, it's just something you sign up for. But I get the feeling this person's pretty young. Just trying to spare you the heartbreak at the moment. Just think about the life you gave your cat. As that's all we can... As long as you gave it your best, I think that's the best anyone could hope for. Sudden health decline or slow decline? Yeah, I mean, neither are really good. I'm a little... Because I've gone through 2 cats already. And it's always been very sudden, which has always been very disappointing to me. Because, like, I've always had to make the snap judgment of, like, okay, my pet is suffering. They're not going to get better. Like, I'm gonna have to put them down this day of when I brought them to the vet, and it feels awful. And, like, you don't really get the time for it, but, I mean, it's not about you, right? It's about sparing the pet pain, and the rest is up to you to work out later. Ugh. Here we go. The Valentine's letter. I've been waiting for one of these. Valentine's is coming soon, and I have a boyfriend. But to be honest, I don't feel the same. And with the... for fuck's sake, people. Hey, Lemon. Welcome back. Welcome to the Lonely Hearts Club. The last refuge of the single people on days like this. But to be honest, I don't feel the same, and with the emotion to celebrate him. I'm confused when I talk about him with other people. I feel so lucky to have him. Ooh. We are unfortunately not a band. That is a pretty good band name, I guess. We'd be like an emo punk band, like My Chemical Romance, and just sing very passionately about being sad. So this is a weird one. Yeah, seriously, right? Sad. It's like, yo, dude. If you don't want your boyfriend, we'll take him. Valentine. So she feels lucky to have him, but she doesn't. Okay. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, but it's unfortunate, right? I think if you're not really into being with him, that's a pretty big sign already. I understand the idea of feeling like you're lucky to have him and probably wanting to stay with him as a result. But that's just all theory, and your boyfriend is defective, but you should check his warranty and see if you could still trade him back for a new one. No, I mean it's serious. It's like I get the vibe that this person is like, you know, they're like, "Oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to have this guy. This guy's probably a really good guy too, right?" Like this person's like, "I have a really good boyfriend. I'm lucky to have this boyfriend, but I'm just not feeling it." And so she feels obligated because she knows she's lucky, but it's not what she wants. No, I mean, I doubt it's something that silly. I think it's just she can say a whole bunch of good things about him, but it's not enough. And I think there are a lot of people like that, right? A lot of people feel like, you know, on the by the numbers, when listed off on paper, you know, I have a good boyfriend, but you know, I'm just not in love with my boyfriend. Sad. Feel free to drop all of the juicy gossip as long as it's not harmful. Use pseudonyms. Protect the identity of this individual. Oh, Lemon, that's definitely a possibility. I think there are a lot of people who lock themselves in incompatible relationships for that exact reason. But yeah, that's all. Let's see. That's all just. You know, that's just all theory. But that's all just trying to mathematically justify wanting to be with, needing to stay with someone. If you're not feeling it, let's see. I understand the idea of feeling like you're lucky and probably wanting to stay with him. Oh. Scott, don't throw out the memes. Don't throw out the memes. Let's see. That's not just a theory. I have to word this better. But that's kind of chasing after an ideal. Hmm. Don't lock yourself into a relationship because you think you should be in one. Or because this person is good objectively. If you don't, if you're not actually into him, it'll just be self-destructive to both of you down the road. Virtual relationship consultation. I mean, yeah. To both of you down the road. Yeah, God, that's unfortunate. I'm still waiting for Sad to drop whatever this juicy gossip is he just teased a few minutes ago. I'm gonna give this bomb bird to symbolize the ticking time bomb of their relationship. Little harsh, but like, it's the idea I want to impart. I have to wonder how many people are convinced they should be in a relationship rather than genuinely wanting one. I mean, Pilgrim, I'd say that's the greater majority, right? Like, we all grow up watching freaking Disney and how all the Disney princesses eventually, meet their dude and they all live happily ever after. Our parents are always pushing us into it. Schools are like, hey, you should give Valentines to girls, even though you're like 10 and don't really understand what's going on? I think we're skewing a little more towards progressivism, right? If I remember, I haven't watched Frozen, but I heard in Frozen, no princesses actually get forced into marriages at the end of the movie. So that's a good thing, right? But yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely an old world concept, and I think for the most part, society is still pretty locked into it. I would, I think I'd be really impressed when I meet like a teenager who grows up feeling like, no, this whole thing, it's not really that big a deal, right? Like they'll still be horny as fuck because they're teenagers, but they won't be like, oh, I've got to get married by 20. Let's see. Hello, Valentine's Day is coming up, and we are an inexperienced couple because it is our first time and I have no idea what to give her. By the way, I am a man, so any advice is useful. We are also minors. Look at this guy. Hell. Responsible, gives good context, wants the world to give him responsible advice. Good man, good man. I like how he refers to himself as a man even though he's a minor, though. But I'll let that slide. He's handling it rather maturely. Milk toast boyfriend. I mean, it's their first relationship, huh? Oh boy. Oh my God. Sad just sent us a dissertation. Dude, you gotta break this up so we could read it. Alright, good point. This following story takes place in Minecraft. Okay, so there's this dude named Steve and he's dating Alex. Alright, alright. But John, my friend, starts chatting up Alex. Long story short, Alex and John start developing feelings to one another. John tells me this. I say, bad idea, dude. If Steve's your friend, John says he is. Fast forward a few months. I find out they were sexting each other, John and Alex. Then John didn't want to deal with the consequences since they are a part of the same friend group and ask Alex, let's not hurt Steve, and ended it. Dude. So Steve doesn't know to this day, Steve still doesn't know. Oh man, that would have been a good one to answer to. But I don't think the game would have given Sad enough letter space to write out that whole scenario. Damn. So like, Steve doesn't know. Damn. So John took the coward's way out. And basically Alex is left picking up the pieces and shouldering all the guilt. Damn. Damn, that's tough. I mean, it's hard to say who's more deserving of any blame or guilt in that situation. Because, yeah, John did take the coward's way out, but Alex went through with it. Oh, man. I mean, there is a certain validity to it as well, even though it's a convenient excuse. Because, yeah, like there are plenty of people of the school of thought that if you've been cheated on, or like if you cheat on someone, don't tell them because all you're doing is absolving your own guilt by admitting it, right? So no one gains anything except you by telling your partner that you cheated on them. Because the partner sure as hell doesn't want to know. And that knowledge doesn't enrich anything. You could quietly break up with them if you really feel that guilty about it. But yeah, Alex wanted it, but now Steve is starting to become my friend. No joke. I feel like I'm Hank Hill and I'm friends with John Redcorn. Yikes. The the burdens of trust. I don't know, man. It's sad. Maybe you gotta trade out John for Steve in that case. I don't know if Minecraft John is a. He's not gonna get invited to Smash anytime soon. Damn. Yeah, that's a tough one because it's also kind of a prisoner's dilemma, right? Because Steve's feelings will only be protected as long as no one tells Steve what happens. But if one person tells Steve, and it will most likely be Alex, then all are fucked, right? Holy hell. Yeah, John just created a prisoner's dilemma for you. That sucks. You all gotta smile. You all gotta smile. Oh man, Valentine's Day, dudes. Don't underestimate relationships. It's a terrifying thing. So how do we help out Elle, who's rather milquetoast relative to this Minecraft John and Steve situation? Not you. Alex doesn't know. Only Redcorn knows. I know. Yeah, Jesus, yeah. I mean, all the same, right? Like, someone's going to know you know and then spill the beans on that too, so it's a bad situation regardless. But how do we help Milquetoast boyfriend? Which is a little unfair to say, but I think we all start off as Milquetoast, right? He's gotta work up his personality stats like in Persona. I mean, it's not a messy situation. We're giving honest advice, right? And sometimes that advice means, take the path that's uncomfortable because that's the right thing to do. In Sad's, in the case of Sad's Minecraft friends, we can't really offer up that advice. He's just giving us insight. But yeah, so inexperienced couple, first relationship, both minors. It's not necessarily about gift giving. Oh God, this reminds me. So I went to a place, I don't if you've heard of it, it's a gyukaku, which is like, Japanese barbecue restaurant. Very nice. I remember going once with a few friends, and at the table next to us was a pretty girl and this dorky boy wearing a black tie, button-down white shirt, and a blazer. And I was just like, right. And the girl was just kind of dressed whatever. Decent dress. Like, the funny thing about this situation is gyukaku is not fine dining. It is very casual. I mean, it's Japanese barbecue, so you're gonna come out smelling like meat no matter what. Most adorable thing I've ever seen, because that dude was clearly taking a play from like the first date ever handbook. And I'm like, oh man, he wore the blazer and the tie. It's all gonna smell like meat, and he can only take that thing to dry cleaning. I think the girl was definitely out of his league, but I kind of had a bit of respect for him because he did secure the date, and she was eating dinner with him. But I was just like, wow, oh man, that is so adorable and such an indication of like the concept we have of dating before we even start dating, you know? That's a story he's going to be able to tell. I don't know, Lemon. I think that's a story she's going to be able to tell. That dude's going to be embarrassed about it once he realizes how silly it is. Never overdress for your first date, folks. Gel the hair, that's fine. Wear a fashionable shirt, even a button down. Don't go full tie and blazer on the first date, though. I bet he had a bouquet of roses, too. Let's see. Both of us minors. It's not necessarily about the gift giving. If anything, just make it... No, that's not helpful. It's not necessarily about the gift giving. I think what people want most out of Valentine's outings are the memories and the adventure of it. It doesn't have to be super elaborate. Just something slightly out of the norm of a regular date. Yeah, of course this is information we're giving them after the fact, right? It's already Valentine's Day. But this can help him out on the next Valentine's Day. Activity you've never done, or maybe hanging out at a new place. Don't get fixated on the present. And don't spend too much on the flowers. Just try to be creative. Creative, and most of all, fun. I hear axe throwing is trendy these days. I don't know if they'll be able to find a place to do axe throwing, but I've seen lots of people. Lately, a lot of people are going axe throwing on dates. It's interesting. Lemon, it used to be. So here's the thing. Back in the good old days, right? When you were a teenager, you were taking your girl out on dates. You would go mini golfing, right? You take your girl out mini golfing, and you do that move where you're like standing behind them and you wrap your arms around them to help them swing their golf club. Because obviously, as a mansplaining male figure in the early 2000s, late 90s, you of course had more authority to teach a woman how to do physical sports. You got to think progressively now. Sometimes a girl wants to feel powerful, in which case you take him out axe throwing. You don't get to do the arm maneuver like you used to, but if you show them you respect them, maybe that'll mean something. Carnivals are always a good backup too. Something like that. What we send? What we send in this case? Give them a balloon. Balloon for carnivals. You can't go from axe throwing to carnivals. I mean, you kind of can. I think you can throw an axe at a carnival, all things considered. It's a shame the Renaissance Fair isn't in town in February. At least not around here. An axe, missed opportunity. See, that's what you missed out on, Sad. Maybe if you offered the girl the opportunity to feel powerful and took her axe throwing, it might have gone through. I put that on my dating profile. I'm like, anyone looking to throw some axes? I've got one potential. One potential interest on there, so who knows? There are those people. Let's see. I think many people have been going through something rough, so it's hard in general, but life has been hard. My partner and my dad have deeply disappointed me recently. I have just lost the two people that raised me less than 6 months ago. What does that mean? I should remove the quote, I'll be the Bakugo to your... Oh no, Sad, you went full anime on your profile? I mean, I guess if you know, you know, right? I'm just... I haven't thought of putting that secret handshake in my description, admittedly. Raised by grandparents. Episode 1 Bakugo or... Damn. That's true. You also run the risk of aging yourself with your anime reference, right? It depends on how young you're willing to date, relatively. You start talking about Naruto, they're not going to know what's up, but you got to mention Boruto for them to understand. Think many people have been going through something rough, so partner. That's a tough one. How do we partner and my dad Disappointed. How do we, let's see. I think I mean, there's not really anything to suggest or help fix. It's just, I think they want to know that, tough times all around. I don't know that I really have much to contribute on that front because all I can say is like, my cat died, a year ago, but that feels rather shallow in the face of all of this. I mean, I hate it, but I'm probably gonna have to pass on this one. I don't have anything constructive to really say. Literally don't know where else to ask. Google isn't very helpful. Any other large-chested men, chested trans people who bind here that can give me tips? That one I'm afraid I also don't have the perspective for. We have been getting a lot of trans questions on here lately, though. Said before that I can't work or drive in this new country I'm in. Unfortunately, it's due to the legal restrictions of me being here that I cannot. It sucks. I'm not permitted to work at all and can't get my license here yet. A two-parter, which, once again, I don't address two-parters. Okay, here we go. I recently had an explosive falling out with the person I thought I would marry one day, who promised to never ever give up on us. Their mental illness has got quite severe and turned their brain against us both in a cruel way. Now I'm dreading Valentine's Day, Monday. Jesus, maybe I should have got to these yesterday. Mental illness got quite severe. Let's see. Sad. I don't think it's messed up at all. I mean, the situation is basically, if you feel like you have insight, by all means, present it. I mean, the whole point of all this, right? And like this whole exercise is a practice in perspective. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to agree with them, but it just means we just have to be able to provide something constructive. So if this person is aware that their partner has mental illnesses, let's see. Since this is a result of your partner's mental condition, I take it these situations pop up on occasion. Is the concern that Valentine's Day has come up, or just that it happens in general? If it's the former, hmm, that is a tough one. Because if they're aware that this is the situation's caused by mental illness, right? This person is choosing to be with their partner despite that. Which isn't, I mean, no matter what, you know a situation like that's going to be difficult, right? Hmm. If you've identified it as a mental illness, I assume that they're being treated for it as well. It's a tough situation. Let's see. Well, the first thing I would say is you should ask yourself if you're with him because of a sunken cost. Whew. They should not be a second mom to this person and only help them if they themselves want to get better. Yeah. The sunken cost situation again. There's nothing to really suggest that that is the original case, but I can kind of see... I can see where you're going with that. Hmm. Yeah, that second question's kind of dumb in the face of this. It's a good take, Sad. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, are you in a situation you don't really want to be in, but feel obligated to be in? Hmm. Rather than dreading Valentine's Day, maybe think more on the long-term implications. It's admirable to stay with them despite the condition and the complications it creates. Got quite severe and turned the, let's see. But make sure you're not doing it at a complete cost to yourself. Hmm. I sense some history in all of this. You just, I mean, Sad, we do talk about anime quite a bit, so, I mean, the tag was appropriate. Mental health, anime. I don't know what the purpose of the channel tags are, actually, but I figured it was worth throwing in there. I sense some history in all of this. So I'm sure there's a hard decision being made somewhere. Well, I mean, the best we can do is really draw attention to a potential situation. Oh, God. Okay. Pilgrim, I'm willing to bet that if you click on the anime tag, you're going to run into a lot of VTubers. Which isn't bad. I mean, there's some pretty good VTubers out there, but either that or a lot of anime games, I'm willing to bet. Maybe some visual novels, maybe some dating simulators. I mean, how bad can it get, really? Top one is XQC. That's bullshit. XQC isn't anime. You can't just tag everything. Jesus. He didn't even watch Naruto on Twitch. Let's see. Starting my college app soon, but I'm having trouble writing it. It feels disingenuous to write about myself. That the version I write down carries more momentum than what I'm actually like every day. God. Yeah, that is how XQC stays on top. It's true. Him and that, Master Chef. Social media contact with actual VTubers. You think he does, Lemon? He doesn't strike me as the sort. I mean, he's definitely widened out his collaborative base recently, but that dude always started off as esports. I do like his current arc of being kind of a nice, wholesome guy, compared to sort of the toxic terror he was in 2020. 2020, early 2021 maybe. Yeah, Pilgrim, I mean that's the thing, right? I feel like this guy basically described my exact situation with college applications. And the same reason it kind of broke my ability to write essays. Because I realized that everything I wrote in high school, everything I kind of wrote from the heart or wrote honestly, didn't really matter because none of it was applicable in the end. My brother tried to get me to write my essays based around my life as a minority, but like I went to a school full of Asian Americans, so I couldn't really I couldn't really empathize with that concept. Let's see. H. I totally had that experience when I was writing college apps myself. It sucks, but marketing, but self self marketing is a huge deal in the adult world, and you'll find you'll have to get good at it when writing up job applications as well. Idealism is good, but the one thing they don't really teach you in school is how ruthless you have to be about portraying yourself. Even if it isn't entirely honest. Oh, no, it definitely does, Pilgrim. It's like, oh, did I misspell ruthless? I did. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean that's what it is, right? They want you to write about, especially, and this is why my brother brought it up too, like writing about your experience growing up as a minority in the country. Like as a minority, you can use that as a selling point. to apply to their, diversity initiative. But it's, yeah, as Sad says, it's a hugely useful skill. Hugely useful, and everyone else is doing it. It's just, it's kind of like, it's like living your life believing that you should never cheat on your tests, right? And then being told at the end that everyone else has been cheating and you should have been cheating too. That's what's unfortunate about this request, because I think that's what they're realizing now. Unnecessary comma. Oh. Also do a co-op while you're in college, because people will ask you for 2 years of job experience minimum. Yeah, seriously. One thing at a time. Yeah, Pilgrim, me too. That's why I'm not as successful as my classmates. But I at least came out of it with a moral compass, so there's something there. I get it. It's like being told to... It's like growing up never cheating and suddenly being told you have to. But if you do well and not cheat, you get to feel smug about it to yourself. Kinda yeah, kinda no. You can only feel smug if you're successful, though, or relatively as or more successful than your cheating counterparts. You come out smarter, but do you necessarily come out more successful? And that is the end question of all of this. Because while I still remember Avogadro's number, which is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd particles per mole, it's unfortunately not really useful. In the 37, almost 38 years that I've lived, it is not useful information to have retained, unfortunately. You get things out of it, but at the same time, I think you need to realize, and once again, this is a part that gets kind of undermined in school. You need to realize where you need to prioritize your effort. And in a lot of cases, you don't need to prioritize your effort that much in academics. Try not to get too hung up over... Yeah, pick your battles. I think that's the accurate term. I feel a little bad because I'm basically telling this person not to be honest. Think of it more as picking your battles in ethics. To quote Tarragon, good advice, chat, good advice. Now, how do I symbolize cheating with a sticker? I'll use this devil. Yeah, I mean, applications of any sort, right? Even your dating applications, right? Which is why I was so impressed that Sad Happy Mad went full anime in his profile description. But yeah, let's see. Let's do one more and call it a night. Bring it back around to Valentine's Day. I want to make this last one. We might as well end this last one on a romance option, right? Like this one, I feel like is almost exactly the same situation as before, where a person's realizing the world isn't as honest as we're kind of raised to believe, which is unfortunate. Uh, my favorite bio line is this: "The last time I was someone's type, I was donating blood." It's good. It's honest. I can respect that. See, that's the kind of shit I like to see. Not some like my hobbies are shopping bullshit, which I do see too much of. A couple days ago, my ex, the person I love the most, uploaded a post that hurt me lots related to our favorite movie. After a year and a half of dating, this person just hurt me on purpose. I'm so sad right now. Sorry for my bad English. Astrology and magic crystals. Mercury rising, whatever it's like. Too much shopping in Disney. Yeah, and they all take that picture at the ice cream museum. Hmm. I mean, this one's not. It's not really much to respond on this either. It's a little weird to say it's a post about a movie, but very long time. Happy about something small. Negative bias. I want to. Ah, for fuck's sake. It sure is a land of contrasts. Freaking suicide letters are the worst because you can't ignore these. Right? Like once you see them, you can't pretend that they aren't like there or that they're insignificant. They're like fucking big bold Arial font text that's just like right in your vision. You can't unsee this shit. Let's see. Now this is where it gets tricky because my first impression here, right, is to kind of call him out because if you just wanted to end it all, you could do that quietly. Why are you attention seeking for this? But that's not a kind word for sure. I'm going to throw a very optimistic shot in the dark and hope that by writing this, you're hoping someone will try to talk you out of it. Also, I'm not super confident that I can say anything for certain about the mindset of suicidal people. No, I mean, That's why I say a very optimistic shot in the dark here. It's, God. Like, I feel like people who write suicide notes are kind of assholes. Because, like, you're basically like, look at me, look at me. And if you really wanted to, like, just go quietly. You don't have to make it a whole thing. And I know it sounds a little self-righteous, right? It's just like, how dare these suicidal people ruin other people's day with their suicidal statements. But it's like, if you want help, ask for help. It's at the end of the day, it's kind of a tone thing. If you want help, please ask for help. Talk to the National Suicide Hotline. Talk to parents. Hell, even talk to a police officer. Hmm. They're not going to get anything from writing this in a... No. And part of it is also like, this is why I don't believe in giving kind of empty platitudes. I'm not going to tell them, oh, it'll get better, or, just stick it out, or stay in the fight, or whatever. Do you know what you expect to gain from suicide? I urge you to think carefully about it, because death isn't relief, and it's most definitely not a way to start over. Let's see. If your mind was set, you didn't have to go through the effort of booting up your computer and typing this out. I gotta appeal to the logic to a certain degree, right? I'm not giving this person a sticker either. If your mind was already said. Your parents, hell, even the police. I need one more word of space. I'm going to throw or something like that. God, it's the worst. Every time we run into one of these. Okay. This one's actually, I feel like this one's a good one we can end on. So just some pre-context. This guy isn't a creep. I've known him for a long time and met him through a good friend. So I know this guy online and he's my first crush. Unlike me, he's not bi. Not sure if I am. Should I push down my feelings or just keep them? Yeah, it's weird, right? Why why did they feel the need to say that? There's a lot of missing context here too, because why do they feel like they have to repress their feelings? My first thought was maybe there's a significant age gap, right? He's not a creep and I'm bi. Like, yeah, like these are very weird statements to open with. I mean, I guess if there was an age gap, I can kind of see that being the problem. It's just, it's a very odd thing. A couple things you should consider. There are a couple things you should consider. Maybe they were just thinking if they just set this guy online, it would raise some eyebrows. I mean, I guess if they're really sheltered. Why did you feel the need to mention the guy wasn't a creep? And why do you feel like you have to repress your own feelings? If you're both consenting adults, there should be no problem with you wanting to pursue him. Yeah, it's just, God, it's such a weird thing. Maybe they're sheltered. Maybe even being bi is like, yeah, I guess, if they're not adults either. Even so, it's just, hmm. I mean, this person met, I'm assuming it's a she because they're not sure they're bi, right? Or maybe not. Maybe it's because this person isn't a she. Think the implication is that the writer is a dude. Unlike me, he's not bi. Still not sure if I am. Should I push down my feelings or keep them just for myself? Those are the same two options, too. Never know for sure, of course. If you are male and are on the edge of bisexuality, hmm, maybe see how he feels about the concept in general. If you just want to get the feelings out without expectation, he might be open to he might be receptive to the idea of just hearing you out. I think that's about as good as we can get. There's not much to work with, but it just sort of seems like they've got a bit of weird turmoil. That creep thing is still very weird. I don't quite understand. I don't quite understand that why they felt the need to say that. All right. Well, I'd say that was a pretty good Valentine's Day stream. We gave out some pretty good advice. I did put something out into the world, so I do want to see what that's looking like here. So today's outgoing request revolves around being the last single friend. I am unfortunately in the situation where I am the last. At this point I'm pretty much the last unmarried friend, I'm tempted to say. I have friends who aren't married yet, but they're practically living together and owning property together. So I think that's close enough, you know. But it's always a weird situation when dealing with couple friends because if you want to hang out with the one friend, you do so either pulling them away from their partner or hanging out with both of them. In which case, it feels a little weird. It's almost kind of like you're intruding on someone else's date sometimes when you do this. So in general, I've kind of gotten into the habit of kind of like, allowing the distance to grow, so to speak. Let's see. No, I think it's okay to give your friends space every once in a while. Sometimes people need to grow, and being with the same people all the time doesn't allow much growth to happen. Self-isolating yourself may not be the best move. As you get more comfortable being alone, you'll get used to it. When your friends decide they want to hang out, you'll feel like a stranger to them. Make new friends, of course. Buffalo Wild Wings. Damn, that fits in your keto friendly diet. Oh, it's the baked wings, of course. Of course they'd have a non-fried wings option. The lack of sauce must be killer though if you're trying to cut out sugar. You know, that's it always comes down to just make more friends, forehead. It's not the wrong answer, but it's dude, ranch is keto? Oh. Oh, that's right. It is fat. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Hello, I think it's important to have friendships outside of a relationship, so please try to reach out to them so they can still hang out and talk. Communication is also important, so instead of assuming they need space, maybe you could ask them how they feel. Without people in our lives, we can end up feeling lonely. I'm sure if they're your friends, they care and would love to spend time with you still. It can be scary to reach out, but please do. It's super worth it. Best of luck. Mm, mm, I mean, it's not a bad take. I think it's just, I don't know. When they're like at a point of having children and stuff, it's, something's got to give eventually, is sort of how I feel about it. Oh no. Oh no. Have you tried making friends online, such as Discord? It's been a huge help for me, especially during COVID lockdown stuff. You could also try branching out and doing stuff in groups. If you find a club that is fun, you can invite your friends for a group outing, and it would feel less like a third wheel. You could all you could also try setting up group events, or just don't hang out with them if they don't mind. Have you tried starting a Twitch channel and then growing your own community of Twitch viewers that hang out with you while you stream games? And then maybe if that community becomes big enough, start a Discord channel for your subscribers. So that when you have too many people to talk to, you just narrow it down to the people who pay to watch your channel. Oh man. Little do they realize. I mean, it's not a bad take. It's just, you know, it's funny how these things kind of play out, right? Ah, but yeah, that'll be in 350 discords, one for each game you play, right? So I get the three people for my Gunvolt playthroughs, and then the 40 people for my fighting game channel, or when I play fighting games, and then the 2 people for Needy Streamer Overdose. Another for your main in all 10 fighting games you play, right? Uh, oh well. We'll get this community sorted out eventually. But thank you guys for coming by to the Valentine's Day single person's refugee camp. I do hate Discord. I'm not gonna lie. Discord confuses me way too much. But thank you, Pilgrim, Tarragon, Sad, Happy, Mad, Known Unknown, Jonathan, Lemon Thunder, for all coming in, contributing, helping other lonely people on their horrible Valentine's Day dilemmas. We'll do the same thing again next year, I'm sure. Nah. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your evenings. I hope you guys have good weeks. Um, I might stream again, maybe Thursday or Friday, depending. I've got some like weird It might be allergies, and I'm hoping it's not COVID, but we'll see how my health is later on, and we'll pick this back up again. But all of you be well, make good decisions. I wish you all luck on your romantic endeavors, and have a good night.